With 6 school days left to go until the end of the first semester, the countdown is definitely on. I think it's been on for quite some time for students, staff, and probably families too. It's definitely been a long haul, another leg of this triathlon we are participating in here during COVID times. But there is still a lot to celebrate, and there is still a great deal of hard work and effort going on to support our kids and our families. So just a few updates on that this evening. We have a lot of celebrations that I'll be very eager to share with you next week as we wrap this semester, to just remind ourselves of all the good, right? Amidst the heavy demands and the kind of relentless day-to-day things that we deal with, there is still so much good happening in our district every single day for our kids and for our staff. And so the hard work is worth it. These smiling faces, which I know we don't always get to see, or those moments with families, or these special celebrations that we've been able to still figure out ways to make happen for our kids and our staff, really mean a lot. And it's really the things that continue to get us through. And soon we'll be wrapping up another calendar year. It really truly feels like we just blinked and we were happy to be wrapping up 2020. Well, 2021 was definitely a sequel, and it seems that we are continuing on for yet another novel in the upcoming year ahead, but still so much good. I know that we hear comments and we get emails from parents, and we had, a speaker this evening that, we're growing weary or losing our patience with some of the protocols or demands related to the COVID health and safety protocols. But it's certainly not the time to let down our guard or to think that we are in the clear, because COVID is still here. Cases have definitely increased in our local community and in our district, and it still does have a tremendous impact on families, and we know this, and we see this often. And so we know that whether it's in health and safety or those who are close contacts in quarantine, that there is an impact, and that we all need to continue to do our part. The metrics displayed on the screen will kind of tell you the story. The metrics have increased. We saw a spike at the beginning of December. We're continuing to hover at that substantial rate for positivity in new cases. We're watching the youth populations. We're watching what's going to happen with the variants, and we're staying in tune with our local health department and the other medical experts. You can see what's happening here at the zip code with a positivity rate around 5%. In new cases of about 341 per 100,000. So the rates that we're seeing in the district in terms of new cases and the overall positivity as a percent of the population is relatively low. However, every one case does have an impact for that individual and then for any close contacts. So we did see a peak in early December, like we're seeing in the larger community. And then we are seeing that we're seeing moderate to high levels, kind of compared to our high point when you look at historical data. And we are also seeing high quarantine numbers, which does have an impact and increased demand on not just students to continue their work and connection at home and families to figure out a way to support them, but also for our staff who has to figure out new ways in very creative ways and a lot of work and effort and planning to support students that are sitting in front of them and then their students who may be at home. So we are continuing to hold as strong as we possibly can. We have 6 days to go, and so I just ask families to please be diligent in monitoring your child's symptoms, reporting your students if they're sick, letting us know if someone in the household is positive or testing. We are definitely seeing an impact wide and far throughout our community. Please continue to work with us. We want to not just finish these next 6 days strong, but we want to come back in a good place after the holiday break when we come back together in January. Our staff will return on January 5th and our students on January 6th. So our goal is certainly to minimize disruptions to learning, and we can best do that when we work together to ensure that we're healthy and taking precautions wherever we can. And I know it's going to be busy holiday season for many families, so any precautions that we can take will help our larger community in many, many ways. We continue to advertise vaccinations for 5+. ages 5+, vaccine and booster availability for ages 16 and older. Please visit the Will County Health Department website that's linked here, and consider that option for your family or for your students. That does make a huge difference in what we're seeing with positive cases, even in the instance of breakthrough cases with symptoms, and then as well as the impact that positive cases have on others due to close contact. So again, it is part of the big picture here and how we as a community work together. I sent out a message a couple weeks ago related to safety and security, and not in the health sense, but in the sense of creating a safe learning community. And that is specific to social medias, where we're seeing a lot of concerns with online behaviors being reported to administrators, being reported by students, or coming to our attention. We continue to ask our families and our parents to be familiar with your child's social media use, the social media platforms that they're using. Our kids to be mindful of their activity, their actions, their words, those things that they're engaging with in person or online has an impact on the safety of others in the community. And the best way that we can work together to ensure this is by, if you see something, say something, and then of course letting us know and communicating, and then keeping an eye on those things at home as well. It is critically important. The health and safety, when we say safe learning environment, we mean it in the health sense, but we also mean it in a sense that students are safe in the physical sense. They feel like they belong and they're free from any type of behaviors that make them feel unsafe or unwelcome. Member Perrell mentioned our VVSD Portrait of a Learner. So while we are continuing kind of with the daily grind of, the managing COVID and the other immediate needs for support, for learning, all of the really critical things, we are thinking bigger into the future as well. And we are thinking about what is a portrait of a learner going to look like for our learners as we plan the next steps in strategic planning and going into the future. So we have a large group of stakeholders that have come together now for 3 meetings. Their final meeting will be in January, and they are providing input into a vision that we will present to the board that outlines skills, habits, competencies that are critical in helping us think about the whole learning experience for our children here in Valley View, for that deeper learning experience in the terms of 21st century learning. So we'll be refining and finalizing the competencies that have been identified, presenting how we will communicate this to the community, and bringing this forth to the board at the end of January or the beginning of February. So we're looking forward to that. We've had a lot of stakeholders coming together, and it's been a really great process. So amidst kind of the stress and the demands of the day to day, it's been really great to stop and talk to students and parents and community members and staff about the bigger picture for our kids here in Valley View. So as we're winding down the semester, we're certainly looking forward to these key dates. We will have early release on our last day of student attendance on December 21st. Early childhood and STEP will follow their regular schedules. And then we will have winter break over the course of December 22nd to January 5th, with students returning on the 6th. And our staff coming back on January 5th. And to say this is a well-deserved break, or the typical year when we're counting down to winter break, I think is an understatement for most staff. See our union leaders sitting in the audience, and they are just as deserving as a break as anyone in the district, because they have also put in so much time and energy and effort, and people are definitely at that point where a break is very much needed. I did want to include this information about emergency e-learning days in the event of weather that would make it unsafe for us to transport students to school, or that we were not able to have in-person learning. We do have an emergency e-learning plan in place. We would want students to have their devices at home, so we're going to be reminding students to bring their devices home, and staff to have their devices as well. And of course, our temperatures are, in the 50s and kind of not common for this time of year, but we know that anything can change very quickly. So we will continue with updates, and after the new year, have an update again for you at the January board meeting. And of course, most importantly, we're wishing all of our students, staff, family, board members, our leaders, our community partners a very happy holiday season, safe, healthy, and restful. It is definitely much needed. And thank you to the entire Valley View community for continuing to work so hard together in the interest of supporting our kids every single day and ensuring that we can support our staff to do that as well. Thank you very much.